And we are live, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook and, of course, tonight, live on YouTube as well. We are getting ourselves set up for the latest edition of the Rob and Comrade Show, the podcast, Rob, Comrade, and Cale Show. I'm still working on it.
Come on, Rob. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, Mike and I have been doing this show for a while now, but adding Cale to the mix, we get actually it's kind of cool because more people ask about Cale. And Cale, I think the YouTube comments come up right here on the side. So there you go.
Okay, cool.
Here. It's right there. But tonight we're on Facebook and YouTube as well. So let's get set up for the latest edition of the Rob, Comrade, and Cale Show. Interesting stuff tonight. Vanderbilt led the majority of the way, but they fall to Kentucky. Vanderbilt sucks. Alfred says, oh, maybe. No, may. Oh, we're talking about the stuff with Burch. Well, Burch, is Burch on the move? Alfred says yes, no, maybe. Zach says yes, he's on to LSU. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. All right. So we got some folks checking us out on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live. And now we'll start the show. Here we go. Welcome into the Rob, Comrade, and Cale Show, the podcast that divides the Palmetto State. I am Rob Sanders, your host on this podcast. I represent the Clemson Tigers, your defending national champion. They used to be. They still won 2 out of the last 4 national championships. I have 2 co-hosts. One, of course, is the Dirty Russian. He is Vladimir Putin's water boy. And when he gets his vacation from that, he goes, and then he's Will Muschamp's water boy. He is the Comrade. Mike, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. A little bit tense right now. The Gamecocks are at the half, up by 6. This is a must-win game. The Gamecocks cannot lose this game and go dancing. If they lose this game, the only thing left they have is the NIT. Unless they win the SEC tournament, they have to win this game tonight, up by 6. Huge game. Huge game.
Comrades over there, hyped up about the basketball game tonight. But I do have a co-host, my second co-host, is the bald man from the upstate. He is passionate, and he loves his cat. He is Cale Hall. Cale, welcome to the show, man.
Good evening. Wednesday night. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Always.
Several folks checking us out on Facebook. I did not know that Marcus Mariota was a fan of yours, Cale. He's calling you Butterbean. Imagine that.
Oh, yeah. He is
pin that.
Huge.
Let's see here. Lisa says hi. Spectral Tiger says jackpot. Does it bother you people just call you jackpot? That doesn't bother you, does it?
I don't care what they call me.
That's funny. All right, well, we're going to get into some stuff today, including the Jordan Burch saga, which is becoming like As the World Turns, basically. We'll get into that in a moment. Let's thank our sponsors. Of course, Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia, Highway 1 diagonal from the Walmart. Get some great food. Get you some ice cold beer. All of that at Callaway's. Retro video games, pool tables. They've got it all for you. Highway 1, diagonal from the Walmart. Find them on the web at Callaway'sBarandGrill.com. Also on Facebook. Tell Cheddar Bob and Billy that you heard them on the Rob and Comrade show. They appreciate that, which someone went in there the other day, and I guess they thought that all 3 of us were going to be there at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon is what somebody said something to me about that. I don't know. Anyway, so go to Callaway's Bar. We appreciate you supporting the show. We also have DNC Trucking and Transport, the No Spin Zone segment. For those watching on YouTube that don't know about the No Spin Zone segment, Dennis Wilson is a gentleman that despised the Comrade for a long time. But I'd like to say that they're friends now, even though his wife hates the Comrade, despises him.
That's not true. You're lying now.
Absolutely true. But the Comrade spins things like a top. And this is the No Spin Zone segment. They inject him with the truth serum, and all facts come out from the Comrade. Comrade, read away.
Make sure you let them know that you write this. You and Dennis write this for me. This is not my thoughts. You write this.
It's all
Be
facts.
clear on that. Because when we first started doing this, I would get messages from Gamecock fans who would say, I can't believe you would say that or
Yep.
think that about the Gamecocks. I have to go, no, that's not what I think. It's part of an ad. Okay, so just make that clear. Now I'll go on. I'm going to read this. It sucks to be a Gamecock. I aspire to be a Clemson fan, but I am not that smart. Clemson won 14 games last season. My sorry for a team won 11 games in 2 years. Jordan Burch may be on the move. If he has good parents, they will not send him to the ghetto to play ball. I am okay with a 4-8 season. Remember that it absolutely is shameful and disgusting to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
All facts there from the Comrade. I truly have nothing. I mean, Dennis Wilson does such a great job with that. We appreciate Dennis sponsoring the show. If you want to sponsor the show, you can. You can go to the website, robincomrade.com, or reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter. I'm still in Facebook, Jay.
Like Gamecock fans. If you have a business and you want to sponsor a segment, we can make Rob read a similar script every week, like that one.
Sure.
So think about it. We'll get your business some ad time, and we can make Rob read some truth about Clemson. Like, I don't know, DeAndre McDaniel likes to hit women and coach the Clemson Tigers. Like that.
We
all kinds of things you can do.
We had at the live show. What was it that you had to say? DeAndre McDaniel is a better boyfriend than Will Muschamp as a head coach.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, it's not true, but it was pretty funny. I had a hard time, that was one of those things. I don't read the scripts ahead of time because, one, I don't want to, but two, it makes it kind of funnier when they're really funny. And that was one that I had not seen, and then I read it. And as I was reading it, I couldn't get it out because it made me laugh. But yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So that was definitely Dennis Wilson came up with that one. You're not that smart to come up with that one.
I actually wrote the whole thing.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I don't really care what you believe. The fact is, the problem.
Okay.
This is a problem with South Carolina.
And I don't trust you anymore. You lie all.
You know why Cale is a great addition to this show? Because he's a realist. He realizes that Will Muschamp sucks, and he'll tell you that. The Comrade is still like, I really love Will Muschamp. I have
Boone was going to win Cale over this year.
I have a Will Muschamp thong, and it's embroidered with his name, and I love it. That's pretty much what you want.
Let's remind all our new viewers and listeners that a certain person on this show, his name is Rob, wanted Dabo fired. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep, and that's fine. But the reality is that Dabo didn't struggle nearly as bad as Will Muschamp has. So good luck with that. Good luck with that.
He also took over a top 10 team.
More than you do.
Yeah, Dabo took over a team that was ranked in the top 10 in preseason the year he took over. Little apples to oranges.
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna invent that. I'm gonna stuff something with I don't know, some old clothes or something, and make it and put it in the shape of a couple of boobs, and it's gonna be and draw a face on it, and it's gonna be like kind of hang from the ceiling. The DeAndre McDaniel punching bag to take some frustrations out,
Or Joe Craig.
You can beat it up with a towel rod and it won't fall apart. And I'm gonna market it for Christmas next year.
You'll probably sell thousands of them, Cale. I mean, because I have that. Don't let the Comrade hear, though. At least. Oh, goodness. All right. So several things we're going to get into this evening. I want to start with Jordan Burch. We talked about him on Sunday, and you would think the story would go away. But then it comes out the head national writer for 247 Sports says, this guy's going to LSU. At this point, does anybody know where this guy's going to go? Because I truly have no clue. I don't think he knows, to be honest with you. Cale, what do you think, man?
I made a video talking about this over on the Carolina Jackpot channel. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Got a lot of thumbs down on it, though, but, I really don't give a shit. to me, I mean, when would it be a better time to become an LSU Tiger? I mean, we're fresh off of a national championship. Okay, we're fresh off of a Heisman Trophy winner. You know, the world is in love with our coach. So that look good. I mean, they have a lot to sell the young man. They have a lot to sell the young man, but he's still and there. I saw screenshots of this. Somebody that we're talking with him Saturday night via chat on Instagram or something like that, and I don't even know who was conducting this interview with him. Asking him, why did you not sign? And he said, I'm going to sign with my teammates. Are you still committed to South Carolina? Yes. So I don't know.
It's kind of, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like with what Alfred the Savage says, Burch to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that's where he's going. Damn it. They haven't figured it out.
No, I'm just saying. At this point,
Shit, I want to play for. He wants to play for Jeff Collins.
Well,
in the
slow
ATL.
down. Slow down. That's Jeff Collins. I think is a good coach. He's been successful everywhere he's went. Why would you not want to play for
Jeff? He lost to the Citadel too. So
true, but it's his first year. Give him a break. Comrade, where do you think this guy's going?
I have no idea. I'm just thankful that next Wednesday we'll find out finally, and we can, I mean, listen, it surprised me that he committed to us. I thought he was going to Clemson originally, so that was kind of shocking. So it's kind of like a bonus, and then, and listen, when he didn't sign, everyone that I know, and I hate following this stuff. I can't stand trying to figure out an 18-year-old what they're doing. It really does not interest me that whole lot. But the people I talked to all said he's definitely coming here. He just wants to wait to sign. But have things changed since then? I mean, I heard it was a distance issue, which is why I thought he was going to Clemson or here. Maybe he realized LSU is not that far. I don't know, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me either way. I want to be over. Listen, the problem is if he does not go to Carolina, it's going to be a huge kind of like just a optic nightmare. Is it going to destroy our talent in the team? No, it's one guy, but it's going to look bad for Muschamp. It's going to look like the wheels are falling off. It'll be tough to recover from just from the perception point of it. Not just the talent. It's one guy at the end of the day, right? I mean, it's one guy. But and it could hurt recruiting on the road. So hopefully he comes here just because I know Clemson fans are dying for the LSU. I mean, Clemson fans a few weeks ago watched LSU push it in, and now they're all of a sudden LSU fans when they get them. So it'd be great that if he chose the Gamecocks on Wednesday because now he burned you twice. He committed here, and he did this whole little long, didn't commit, didn't sign, and all you taters were like thinking of the worst, and it's gonna be so funny. And he signs for the Gamecocks, and you guys get even more upset because I don't know why you're upset. You're not national champion. Sorry, my bad. You're whatever. But so, I hope it's over. I can't stand recruiting. It's the one thing about college sports I can't stand. I know people love it, and that's great, but I can't stand following this crap and crystal balls and what this dude said to his friend and his mom wants him here and his dad got a job somewhere. I mean, it's nauseating.
It really is.
And all this time, I thought the fucking wheels fell off when we got blown out on the road by an average Tennessee team and then lost at home to a Sun Belt team. Who would have known?
No, the wheels are securely on, Cale. Now, one may fall off next Wednesday. One could kind of fall off, but listen, we can go with tricycle. We can go 3 wheels. Okay.
Yeah, you got a point there.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. Baseball season's almost here, thank God.
No, seriously. Explain to us how you still have so much blind faith here, Mike, because I don't get it.
Listen, I am an optimist. I am a glass half full person. It's who I am. I've always been this way. Remember, I've been a Red Sox fan since I was born, and while it's easy now to be a Red Sox fan, they won 4 times, but for 30 years of my life, they didn't win anything and came close every year. And even then, I kept on telling myself, this is the year. This is the year. This is the way I am. I always think something good's going to happen. And so I refuse to believe that we're going in the crapper. Okay? Now, once again, when I say this again to people like Cale and Lewis Bowman, who are off the boom bus, okay? I totally get why they feel that way. Okay? I used to get mad at Cale and Lewis when we first hired Muschamp. I would argue with them, okay? Because a lot of people did not like to hire, and I was the one, as you know, I am pro Muschamp since before we hired him. And I would convince people. I would stay in Gamecock rooms and try to, politic my point. I'm not doing it anymore. I get why they don't want him anymore. I totally get it. I totally get it. But I still think there's some hope. But if Burch goes on Wednesday to LSU, I think it's going to be the negativity that will come Boom's way from our fan base. Won't be good. It's gonna be a tough atmosphere, and which makes next year really, really important. They're really important to get to a good start. They kind of change that narrative. If Burch signs Wednesday, I think that gives the people on the fence about Boom a little boost to, hey, this guy can get the 5-star kid, okay, who LSU and Clemson wanted. So we'll see. But so next Wednesday's big. I hate to admit it, but it's big. But I'm not going to predict he's definitely going here, but we'll see what happens.
I think that if he goes to South Carolina, it gives you kind of a you're still going to be a gong show. Let's not.
That's your opinion. That is your opinion.
I have a right to my opinion. You had your opinion.
I know you have an opinion. That's fine. You have your opinion, gong show.
Okay,
I
still think you're going
Boom and Bobo. Listen,
right.
you realize that next year, what we're going to have? A fullback. A damn fullback, Rob Sanders. Look out.
Okay.
I'm so pumped with the fullback.
For being dumb, but
I am pumped with the fullback.
If you have Burch on one side and Pickens on the other, you have the opportunity, I think, to have 2 great pass rushers. There are folks that like your secondary, so it's a carbon copy of Florida, where he's building a great defense, but he doesn't realize there's an offensive side of the ball, which is why he's quarterbacks that have had 8 knee surgeries and everything else, and a fullback, which nobody uses anymore. But
that's the whole point. No one uses it anymore. And we're gonna buck the trend. Be different.
We'll be the ones who make it famous again.
That's right. I'm gonna change my name to Comrade Fullback on Twitter and on here. I'm going Comrade Fullback. We're just fullback on Twitter.
Cale, what has to happen for you to get back on the Will Muschamp bus? Because
good question.
Right now, the only person that's on it is the Comrade.
That is not true. That is not true. I can show you proof.
I just want to see some growth. I mean, I want to see us be able to do. I just want to see us beating the teams that we should beat. I just want to see. I just more energy from the fan base. I mean, this last year was just gut wrenching. Absolutely gut wrenching. So that's it. We got to start. We got to start winning some games that matter. When the games we're supposed to, maybe spring an upset here or there. Don't lose to fucking Appalachian State. Okay, don't lose to fucking North Carolina for starters. That would get me back towards the door. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be putting. I don't know if I'm gonna be giving the driver my ticket yet or putting my tokens in the little change machine. Maybe I might do that if we got to a Gator Bowl or something.
I think we're going to. So, Cale, let me ask you a question. So, if I get your point, you're totally correct in this. So say for example we had beaten the Tar Heels and beaten App State and then still won the Georgia game. Went 7-5. Okay, lost to Tennessee. Everything else was the same. Tennessee, we looked like crap in Tennessee. We whatever. The Florida game. We played tough, and the referees screwed us. I mean, not an excuse, but that happened. 7-5 with wins over App State, Tar Heels, and Georgia. Where would you be on the boom atmosphere then?
I wouldn't be totally hating them. I mean, I wouldn't be exactly happy. That Missouri loss was just shit.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was shit on a shingle. That was a awful
Horrible
game in which we just had to prove that we can win by throwing the fucking ball instead of running the goddamn thing. But I'm not going to get back up on that soapbox because I already got up on that one about 4 months ago, and it damn near gave me a heart attack.
That game made me mad. That game probably made me the most upset too in terms of the coaching because we found out that Helinski's elbow was sore going in. He's a freshman. And then we don't catch the damn punt. That's the first damn thing. Good Lord. And then we're back up our own goal line. And apparently Muschamp said to the offensive coordinator, don't be afraid to throw it down there now. Which the offensive coordinator should have said, boom, go back to the side of the field. Okay, we're going to run the ball here. And we're going to play conservative. And we're going to protect our quarterback. And we're going to run the ball. But instead we go 5 wide, shotgun. And it was just a crap show. From that point on.
And I got real, and I was absolutely agitated about that because after it was over, I told everybody, them Missouri was not a good team. No. That they were just a bunch of average Joes, and maybe not even average. And everybody like, no, you need to shut up. Missouri's building something special. Y'all shouldn't be competing with them anyway. I don't know why you're mad that y'all lost the game, and then they go out and they shit the bed. They lose to Vanderbilt and Kentucky on consecutive weeks. Everybody's like, hey, have you seen Missouri? They're a bunch of jack-offs. And I'm like, yeah, we lost to that.
Yeah, that was bad.
Pretty bad.
That was bad. And so, really, I mean, you look at it right now, App State, North Carolina, Missouri. That's 3 wins.
You know what? I have to check in here for just a minute. Both of you need to calm down with this whole thing about, the North Carolina thing. They were just fucking better than you were.
We still blew a lead, though.
I don't get
We were up on them by 14 points in the fourth quarter. And they still should have won. If you were
better, Cale, you wouldn't have blown a 14-point
I know. I'm just –
we got up by 14 damn points, so what does that say?
Awesome. You get the glove.
Shit.
But if you were worth the
we should have won that game.
No, you're just saying that because your team because they should have beaten your team. That's the only reason you're saying that. They were just better than you were. You don't believe that.
I truly don't believe
that. You down by
I truly believe that. They were better than you were.
No.
Look at the way the season ended up.
At season's end, they might have been, but at that point in the season, no, sir. No,
they should have won that game.
No.
Should not have won that game. The worst loss on your schedule was the Missouri game. App State was better than you are. Flat out. Simple as that. If you played them 10 times, they'd win 7. You're just not that good. You're not that good.
Okay, that sounds like Dabo a few years ago after Florida State beat their ass 51-14.
Right.
If we played them 10 times, I guarantee you we'd win 5.
That's back when Robin and fired, I think, though.
That's a bunch of ifs, buts, and coconuts.
Well, we can have that, but the reality is that they weren't better. Florida State was better, and I'm willing to admit that. I don't have a problem with that.
This is all subject right here, but have you're watching this basketball game? Did you see Arkansas's basketball coach? I mean, he doesn't look like the prototypical basketball coach with the suit and all this stuff on Frank Martin's. This guy looks like an old PE teacher.
It's
short sleeve.
It's Eric
thing with a slick back Eddie Haskell haircut.
Yeah,
Eddie Haskell, good name.
Good name. Eddie Haskell. Of him right now. Eric Musselman coached in the pros, was an assistant all over the place, and
Musselman is a damn good applesauce too, by the way.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx the Gamecocks right now. I want to jinx it. Okay, so this is not jinxing, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're up by 9, and that's cool. But here's the important thing: AJ Lawson appears like he has awoken from his slumber, and if he starts to play like he did last year, okay,
Nelly,
I wouldn't want to play us going on the stretch.
We're going to talk Gamecock hoops in just a minute, but Spectral Tiger on YouTube said, would you trade the Georgia win for the UNC win if you could reverse the 2? Would you trade that?
No.
I don't know. I'm not put into that. But it's just frustrating to me that the Gamecock fans sit here, we should have beat North Carolina. We should have beat State.
We shouldn't have. Well, the thing with UNC, though, is it just was so demoralizing because the first game of the season, and then and Bentley got hurt. It was just kind of a demoralizing thing. So if you would tell me that okay, we'd beat UNC and somehow that would kind of kind of boost us up in a better year. Okay, say we win UNC and all of a sudden it kind of changes the whole outlook in the season, and we end up going 8-4 but lose to Georgia. I would take that.
Right.
But just to trade to go 4-8 and trade UNC for Georgia, no. I like the fact that we had the hedges in our mouth and Rob got mad. Rob was so mad. That podcast episode was the best one. Rob was like, he wanted people arrested.
I did not
want people kicked out of the NCAA. Like he was crying over the hedges.
No.
I've never seen anybody. He was going on and on about how dare they mess up. It's vandalism. It's a crime. It was the funniest thing in the world.
I just said it
was hilarious.
If you can call it hilarious, I'm fine with that. But the reality is,
so just for that, I mean, the win was worth it. To hear Rob just go on and on. I mean, you would have think that. I mean, we had, listen. I know that Clemson fans get really upset when you vandalize stuff. You hit females, not that upset. But if you vandalize a rock, that's a big deal. You vandalize shrubbery, big deal. You push a girl down the flight of stairs, hit her with a towel rod. Hey, mistakes happen. So I understand Clemson's mindset, but
here we go.
We're a little bit different here at Carolina.
Okay. Well, first of all, you're not, but we can go over that. But the thing with the Georgia stuff is that it's really hard to talk to people that have a football program with absolutely no tradition and explain tradition to them. Also, your team doesn't know what it's like to win. So when you go into Georgia, don't mess with the stuff that's there. Look at
tradition is you do that if you beat Georgia at Georgia.
That's
a tradition.
Look up at
other teams have done it. Look it up. Google it.
If they jump off a bridge, you're gonna jump off with them there, Mike. I'm just.
What do you call digging up? What do you call digging up actual pieces of the field? I mean, that's
I don't agree with that either.
That's vandalism too.
That's not. I never said it was vandalism. I just said it's not a good look. Y'all don't have to put words in my mouth. It's not a good look.
Go check on go check your cemetery out there, bro. And your little sod you have.
They can build whatever they want. Guys pick up stuff all the time. When Ray Lewis did it, did you have a problem with that? If you do, Ray Lewis will.
No, I have a problem that Ray Lewis killed somebody and he's walking free.
But yeah, that's the big thing though with South Carolina fans that annoys me though is that we should have won those 3 games. No, you shouldn't have.
Oh yes, we should have.
No, the only one you can argue with me and might have a valid point is Missouri. I will entertain that one, but
we lost that one. We lost by 20 fucking. We should have beaten them because we were just as good as they were. We weren't even close there. We weren't even damn close.
Cale, you watched the game. You were closer than that. We
lost by 20 points.
Right, but once
we gave up 100-yard pick.
The Missouri game was more about our coaching was horrible.
You had a pick 6, and then you had the play where he batted the ball down and it went into the end zone. They recovered it. Those 2 plays come out of it. It's a 6-point game.
God, I forgot what that play.
More ifs, buts, and coconuts. We were winning both the other games. We had we shouldn't know.
Well, then if we're going to go on that logic, then Cale, you should have won the Florida game, right?
Yeah, we should have.
Had that game, the referee screwed us.
Didn't finish.
The refs did not screw you.
Good Lord, we were this far from
can't blame the referees. We can't blame the referees. We lost it. We lost it in the fourth quarter, just like last year.
We were so close to the Gator Bowl, you don't realize it. I know it looks like 4-8, but God, we were close. We were a couple plays here and there, a couple of better decisions from coaching. Okay, we were a fullback away from going 8-4 and winning the Gator Bowl. We needed a fullback last year. And he is on his way.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask. Yeah.
Another one that pissed me off the road game at Texas A&M, and that final score looked so much fucking worse than that game really was. I mean, it was 13-6 with 10 minutes left to play, and then the defense is just totally fucking gassed because the offense is just horrible.
That game, like that game, we were our offense is so bad that
that's the closest 30-6 game I've ever seen in my life.
But it felt like for us to even score 13 points was going to take a miracle.
Not funny. Stop laughing, damn it! Stop fucking laughing.
I remember a game at the end of
the closest 30-6 game I've ever seen.
I remember a game against in the Lou Holtz era towards the end when our offense was really, really bad. And I think it was against Mississippi State or something like that. I forgot who it was now. Some kind of SEC middle tier team. And we're down 10-0 at the half. But it felt like 85-0 because our team could not move the ball at all. And 10-0 felt like it was a baseball game, down 10-0 baseball. So that's kind of A&M game reminds me of. We're down 13-6, but it felt like that. Unless A&M, runs in their line, the ball pops up in the air, and the defender grabs it and takes it back, then maybe we'll score. But that's about it. Well,
I have a bold prediction tonight for the South Carolina football team for this coming season, and I'm going to give it to both of you, and you're both going to tell me. Rob, Cale's probably going to cuss at me, and I'm fine with that.
I'm sure it's unbiased.
I don't really care if you think it's biased or not. It's based on facts, and facts hurt feelings.
Well, if it's biased, it's not factual. It's biased.
It's not biased.
Okay?
It's not biased.
I'm going to start calling you Rachel Maddow.
Here's my one big prediction for the South Carolina football team this year. It involves one game. South Carolina is going to lose on the road at Kentucky. Write it down. Calling it January 29th.
We are not losing to Kentucky for a while.
Loss.
We don't lose to Kentucky in any sports anymore. We just don't lose to Kentucky in any sports. Basketball, baseball, football. We don't lose to Kentucky.
Yeah, because Kentucky transformed a wide receiver into quarterback last year, who will not be playing in this game because he is gone. Okay.
I say we make a little wager. We can do a little ball wager.
I will be happy to take wagers.
Mr. Eyebrow?
Well, no, I've got several wagers we could talk about, but once we get closer to the season, we'll have that. But I wanted to put it out there now. Your program is
we're treading water. Kentucky's cycling out.
Cycling out big time. Kind of like the team in the upstate too.
Kentucky's cycling out. Are you out of your damn mind? You've lost
Kentucky
to them, right?
They don't cycle. They don't ride.
Kentucky had no problem going to a bowl game.
They don't ride bicycles there. They're probably they're tractoring out.
Tractoring out.
That's true.
Well, you got a problem with country folk?
They're
jutting out.
They're tillering out. I don't know.
They're jutting out.
Well, write it down. That's my bold prediction. I'm calling it now in January. It's January 29th. This season for South Carolina is going to be a shit show, but guaranteed loss on the season will be the Kentucky game. And you can't tell me who you've got that's going to go out there and put up offensive numbers anyway. We've
got a fullback. We're going to run the ball.
Yeah,
Marshawn Lloyd.
Marshawn Lloyd. Hold on. Going back to what you said before, he hasn't played it down in college football yet. So you can't.
But he will. He will.
Okay. Well,
he's special with a fullback blocking for him. Hello.
Fullback blocking for him. Well, there you go.
The I formation.
Cale, am I out of my mind with that, or could you see that happening? Because Comrade's not going to be a realist.
I mean, I could see it happening, but it's not going to.
Well, we're going to look at 1992 Dallas Cowboys.
Will find a way. I'm just scared because I'm cautiously optimistic about this new Mike Bobo offense, but I just don't see the playmakers. The playmakers are. I mean, the offensive line is going to be decent, but the playmakers are just so dang young.
We're going to look like
just unknowns. Yeah. Sometimes that's good. I mean, you never know what you're going to get with these kids. You never know what you're going to get when they get into a system that works. If it works, look out.
I agree.
Look at this. Spears on the Ridge on YouTube says UK will win. You were lucky last year. How the fuck do you win a game 24-7 by virtue of luck?
I don't know, Cale. I mean, it's sort of like
Hey,
it was
17,
close
which
loss
should
to
have been
Texas A&M.
24 to
You
nothing.
lost 30-6, and that was a close loss at Texas A&M. By God, that was just so
Yeah,
close.
I didn't. Yeah, that was no lucky. They were lucky to score.
Look
Yeah.
at Bulldogs Mafia. Arkansas has a better chance at a bowl game next year in South Carolina. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Go check your hedges because we tore them up.
But
Georgia
the
again
other
next
thing
year.
that's different than yours,
does. They got that
Comrade.
coach.
You look.
Yeah, they're done. Whatever it is.
That's funny, but Comrade, you were like,
yes, sir.
how does that feel that people think Arkansas is better than you are?
It's a Tiger fan.
They're shooting shit. They're shooting shit. I named you to get them to name 2 players on the fucking Arkansas team. They couldn't do it. I couldn't name one.
They probably think Chad Moore's still coaching there. He's not.
Probably. No, they're not. He's not. It's yes, sir.
By the way,
Big year next year.
To Sergeant AR-10, who I'm assuming is a Marine. Thank you for your service, sir.
Or Sergeant Slaughter.
I like Sergeant Slaughter too.
He's a big Gamecock fan.
Tore up hedges, but went 4-8. Great.
That's okay. Hey, that's okay. Hedges got torn up, and people's feelings got hurt.
We're the only ones to tear them up, so
that's it.
Bulldogs Mafia says Felipe Franks from Florida. He tears up Gamecock ass, and Rakeem Boyd. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, we're real scared of Felipe Franks.
You should be. You should be scared of just about anybody. Remember, not the Missouri list.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's so bad at that shit. It's funny.
Yeah, keep on way. Fullback.
Are you going to be crying about a fullback all season, Mike? I'm just wondering.
Oh, we're gonna like the 1992 Dallas Cowboys. Okay, Marshawn Lloyd playing the role of Emmitt Smith. Okay, our new fullback was it Prentice? I got his name already.
1982.
Prentice, yeah. It's playing Daryl Johnston, the pride of Syracuse,
92, maybe.
92 Cowboys. Yeah, 92 Cowboys.
92. Okay.
Yeah, 92 Cowboys. Or the 2019 49ers. Similar team. Just run the ball, smash mouth, play some defense.
Yeah.
Run the ball, play defense. We're going to go back to the old school way of playing ball. We're going back to the 1980s SEC. That's how we're going to run things.
Okay.
Just spread stuff and throw it around.
To quote the Comrade, we'll just have to go with "we will see" or "we'll see" because I'm not.
I'm not. I'm going to have to see. We're going to find out. Everyone's about to find out. New way of playing. We're bringing back the old school way of playing smash mouth football. Defense, run the ball, field position. Our new special teams coach is going to be a genius in making our punt returners catch the ball as well.
Okay, well,
Let's see right now.
I don't believe in all that stuff. By the way, time update here. South Carolina leads by 6 at Arkansas.
Yeah.
If they pull off the winner, they'll be 3-3 in conference play.
4-3.
Well, you know, I got to notice here. Arkansas is 3-3 in conference, 3-3 or 3-3. South Carolina's 3-3. But the arena size between ours and their whatever this place is called, probably about the same. This place is fucking packed. I mean, it is fucking packed. Man, I just imagine if we could do that, man.
Well, a little history on that. I learned this.
The Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah, the Bud Walton Arena and the Colonial Life Arena are essentially, I think they're designed by the same architect. It's essentially the same building. And, it's as simple as that. So, yeah, it's amazing, though, that I have a hard time with getting behind filling up a building that big. So I think it's hard for any team, to be completely honest with you, but unless it's not in conference play, because I think it is a basketball arena, but it's also built for freaking concerts. I mean, that's what it basically is. So my last thing on football tonight.
I doubt there's a lot to do on Wednesday night in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So yeah,
well, you might be right about that. But my final thing, and we haven't actually asked Cale this, and I think I asked Mike this at the end of the season, but Cale, I think that the South Carolina team probably goes 6-6 if they have Jake Bentley at quarterback. Do you agree with that?
You're talking about last year?
Yep, last year, I think if Jake Bentley did not get hurt and played the full season, I think you go 6-6.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
Mike,
Alinsky had a nice little spark there, but as the season wore on, you had some games there that I think had Bentley been quarterback, you had that senior leadership. I think he could have pulled out the win. That Florida game is one that weighs heavily on my mind. That Texas A&M game, maybe he finds a way to make a play there. To kind of to flip the script. You say 30-6. I know, but I mean, you think about it. One touchdown in another direction. That thing could have went another way. Could have got away from us.
The Missouri game you win because I don't think he throws a pick six, and I don't think he bats the ball down in the end zone either.
God, that was horrible.
I'm renaming that play the Comrade. That's what that is.
It was unreal because the only person in the goddamn building who knew that he scored a touchdown was the linebacker, Cale Garrett. He was the smartest person on the field. Obviously, his name's Cale. Should be. But he's like, I got it. That's a touchdown. And, the referees, they look at it right. They're like, hey, goddamn, you know what? He's right. That's a touchdown.
Yeah. Barry Odom looked like he just like, oh, great. He's so dumb. You guys lost to Barry Odom. Holy crap, Cam.
Fuck you. Hey.
Bulldogs Mafia says Helinski is just a very awful quarterback. Joe says we should get over the Burch thing. If he leaves, he leaves. Yeah.
Agreed.
Anyway, moving along here, the Clemson basketball team, they won over Syracuse last night, 71-70. The Comrade was bitterly upset.
I was happy. Resume builder. Thank you. Thanks for helping my resume.
You were upset. When I watched that game, Tevin Mack goes off for like 32 points. And I don't think Tevin Mack is that good of a player, but I said that and I'll stick behind it. If you told me at the beginning of the season that Clemson would have wins over Duke, at North Carolina, and over Syracuse, beat 3 Hall of Fame coaches, I would have laughed at you. At Operation Basketball, I got a chance to interview Coach Brownell and Coach Boeheim, and it was the vibe I got from them was Coach Boeheim said they were building, and Coach Brownell said, oh, we're a piece or two away. I'm still not on the Brownell train. I just don't think that for the long-term success of Clemson basketball, he's going to be the way to go. And, I'll still support the Tiger Paw, but the direction that he has the program. And the big thing is going into next season, you don't know what the hell you've got. Who is he going to pick up off the transfer wire? That's what you're hoping for. It's like rolling dice every offseason, and it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Now, I will take Frank Martin for the Gamecock fans who hate him. Love to have him at Clemson. That would be just great. Did you guys watch the Clemson game at all?
I did.
What'd you think, Kate?
I was pissed. I mean, I can't believe they let y'all fucking come back and win. That's bullshit. And yes, Brad Brownell is beating Roy Williams in a down year, Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim. But, I mean, he's also lost to whoever the fuck the coach is at NC State, the new coach at Virginia Tech, Mike Young. He almost lost to Danny Manning at Wake Forest. He should have lost that game. And, of course, is Leroy, whatever his name is.
Leonard Hamilton.
He's still at Florida State. He still bends you over every time y'all play him. So, it's whatever.
There's a great Broadway play by him, too.
That stink. Yeah, you've beaten all 3 of those guys. So you're barely over 500.
Yeah, well, as I said, not impressed with the Clemson team this year. So there's that. Comrade, what did you think of the game?
I didn't watch it, but my dad, who's a Syracuse alum, was sending me text messages all the time, and he wasn't real happy. I got to laugh at him a little bit, and I said, I told him beforehand, I said, help us out today. We need our resume to kind of get a little boost, lose to Clemson. And he said, no way. And afterwards I thanked him, and he was not happy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got to move on to Clemson football here. We can't really talk about the Gamecock basketball team right now because they're still playing their game. And
then they're trying to give it away.
I've got something I'm going to throw at you guys real quick here on the Clemson football team. According to 247 sports analyst Brad Crawford, the Clemson Tigers have the most favorable schedule in the country.
Shocking.
It's just another guy coming out.
Really?
That's what he said, Cale. I'm just reading, brother.
Ooh.
Calm down,
Shocking.
my friend.
I didn't think that'd be the case.
So, do you guys agree with Brad Crawford that Clemson has the most favorable schedule in the country?
You could say that every single year of their life.
I thought the ACC was taking some steps forward. This proves me wrong.
Mm.
Well, my thing on this is that Clemson can't help who they have as far as the conference goes. Okay, but the non-conference portion of it, you know, they have Akron on the schedule. They were supposed to have Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State backed out. So if Oklahoma State was on the schedule instead of Akron, your non-conference games are Oklahoma State, the Citadel, South Carolina, and Notre Dame. That's a pretty well. Two of those games are worthwhile, and then two of them are teams from the South that just don't work. But I think that's what's kind of screwed the Clemson schedule over a little bit.
Like that about the Citadel.
Oklahoma State is out there. I was talking
You're
about
right. Y'all were supposed to play Oklahoma State.
right.
I'm 40.
Why did damn the mullet, man? He would have lit your ass up.
He would have lit you guys up. He would have.
Just like you guys were supposed to light us up and everybody else was. It
Lit you up.
I don't believe we said that.
LSU lit you up.
But
I didn't say that. We lit you up 2 years ago at Bentley.
The question is, and you lost. The question is,
I know, but we lit you up.
Yeah, well, you light up.
What's your defense?
Doesn't matter. It's like getting a kiss on a prom date.
I didn't say we're going to beat you. I said we were going to light you up, and we did. We couldn't stop Jake Bentley in the offense.
And you lost.
I know, but I didn't say we were going to win.
You were there.
The defense was horrible.
I got some great pictures of you looking like a homeless guy.
Look at this. Larry Hoover over on YouTube said it's like Uncle Lou said it smells like fried butter and disappointment outside of Williams-Brice Trailer Park. You know what it smells like outside of Sanford and Son Stadium? It smells like disappointment and broken bushes.
Larry Hoover says Georgia will beat them by 50 this year. Great. I'll take 49 points from you, Larry Hoover. Let's put that in writing, my friend. Give me 49.5, my friend. Let's do that.
Well, here's the thing, though. And I wanted to get your opinion on this. There really isn't much more Clemson can do with their schedule. They have to play the teams in the ACC. They have to play South Carolina because it's a rivalry. What else do you want from them?
Okay, listen. I'm going to say this again. I don't blame Clemson. It's not their fault.
Right.
Okay. And so I am willing to admit that it's not their fault. They're trying to schedule teams. It's not their fault. However, I want Clemson fans to acknowledge that your schedule's crappy. Don't play this thing, schedules don't matter. No, they do, and your schedule's crappy. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying it's Dabo's fault. You guys get real sensitive about this. Just admit your conference blows. I'm not trying to ride my conference coattails. It's just factual. You don't have anybody in your conference worth a damn. It's how it is.
Whip that ass, but go ahead, continue.
Okay, so that's it.
I mean, 14 points and whip that ass, but yeah, they're not.
I'm just saying you don't have a good schedule. I'm not saying it's your fault. It's just you don't. So stop trying to minimize it or act like, no, you're trying to ride conference coattails. No.
Bulldogs Mafia has my favorite quote of the day here. He says, Georgia 79, South Carolina 7, calling it now.
Awesome. Good.
Well,
Let's
that
put
that
I'll bet you both.
last year certainly put me in the mind frame of that.
Yeah.
Look, listen, Bulldogs Mafia guy, I can appreciate you being confident in your team. And South Carolina is a shit show with probably one of the worst coaches in Power Five. I mean, they're paying him $4 million, and he's basically a defensive coordinator. But
We beat Georgia. We beat Georgia on the road with a quarterback who couldn't walk, and a backup quarterback with a pulled hamstring, and we beat you on your field. So deal with it.
Georgia fans are funny because they think they're the most awesome in the world, but they haven't. I mean, what was it, 1981? I mean, I was 2 when you won the last national title. Just stop, Georgia fans.
We have a winning streak against you. I'm sorry.
Go there. I just
own
don't
it,
here, man. It's crazy. You think? And then Larry says maybe 80 if Kirby really pushes the gas. What a joke program South Carolina is.
Yeah, Kirby pushes
the
gas.
What a joke of a program South Carolina is. How does it feel to lose to a joke? I can just have fun all night. I mean,
he's an LSU fan.
Oh. You're not talking to Tennessee fans over here.
I think Larry was a Georgia fan up until about 6 weeks ago. Now he's an LSU fan. That's my guess.
Well, by the way, you guys mentioned the ACC. It's kind of humorous to me that there's always the talk of there's better athletes in the SEC, but isn't it kind of funny that Georgia went to Wake Forest to get their starting quarterback for next year? That's kind of funny.
I think the kid from Wake Forest wanted to go to Georgia is more like what it was.
Yeah. I think Georgia.
I don't think they reached out. I think Jamie reached out.
I think Georgia's beatable. Georgia's beatable next year. Well, they're beatable this past year too, as you proved. But I mean, so I think they're beatable this year for the Gamecocks who have them at home.
They're slightly above average.
You have no quarterback. I mean, the Wake Forest guy coming in, and we have a fullback. And
will you get off the damn fullback?
We're gonna slam it on your face. You're not gonna slam it on your face. Throw hedges at your. We're gonna keep. Everyone brings their hedges they got last year and brings them to the game and throws them at Kirby Smart after the game's over.
Georgia's the most talked about program that produces the least results.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I'm still waiting on all titles. They were talking about national titles last year, and they were talking about national titles the year before, and Jamie Newman will be better than Joe Burrow. Just watch, man. These guys are on fire, man.
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun beating Georgia again next year.
You're not beating Georgia. Yeah, that's another one of those guaranteed losses. That's not happening.
It'll be fun beating the Bulldogs again next year. Okay. Get a little streak going.
Not feeling all that. Anyway, that's what happened with the Clemson game. They went over Syracuse. Ta-da! They're on their way to possibly a 500 ACC season. So there's that. We have the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, and oh god, man, they are crazy. Quit trashing on Newman. He's not a trash can like Fromm. Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, you're bad at Fromm.
Coming up this weekend, guys. Did you? First of all, I'm not really jacked for the Super Bowl like I normally am. I think it's all this Kobe Bryant stuff. It's just kind of being like, they're not even talking about the freaking Super Bowl. Everything is Kobe Bryant.
Well, it's weird because the first week of the Super Bowl preview week, it was all about the Houston Astros and Science Thing. It was the first time ever like 1950, where baseball was in the news more than football was during that week. And then this past week, it's all about Kobe. So it's been kind of really of a weird kind of prep for the Super Bowl. And it's a shame because I think it's a really good game. I think it's two contrasting styles, and I think styles make football games, styles make fights. And so you've got the finesse Chiefs with their speed and their quarterback against the Niners who play old school football. They play, Garoppolo threw like 8 passes last game.
Yep.
They're going to run the ball and play defense. And so it's a cool thing to see what happens. I personally, either way, I'll be happy. If the Chiefs win, I like Andy Reid a lot, and I know if he wins this game, he's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. He still might get he loses the game, but he's a shoo-in to get the ring. And but if Niners win, Debo gets a ring, and more importantly, my style of football that I like gets to win. My whole throwback to running the football and playing defense wins. So I think the Niners will win the game. I think they're going to slow down Mahomes enough. I think the Chiefs, if they get behind again like they did the last 2 games, I think the Niners will can hold the ball and kind of not give up that lead. So I'm taking the Niners for the upset on Sunday.
Cale, who you got?
I think Kansas City might take this one. It's looked really good this year. And, those comebacks in the playoff games, I think it might just be too much.
I like Kansas City. I think Kansas City's gonna take them down. So yeah, there's our picks on the Super Bowl. And finally, our last thing tonight, I had Joe Healy on today from Baseball America on my show on Fox Sports Radio here in Columbia. You can find that podcast. Just look for Rundown with Rob Sanders. You can hear everything that Joe Healy said about as we kind of previewed the college baseball season. But the cool thing here is when I asked him about South Carolina, even though they're not ranked, he said that the guys at Baseball America said that South Carolina has some supreme talent coming in from the JUCO front. But I wanted to ask, and I'll start with Cale on this, and I think Comrade will have a good answer on this too. It seems like that on the Kingston front, he kind of hit the reset button. I mean, that's just kind of the way that it seems, and he went the JUCO route. Do you think that's smart in the land of college baseball to kind of completely retool your team like what he's done there with the Gamecocks?
Whatever it takes to win games and start and do something like win an SEC series before the month of May.
Yeah.
May. Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to win.
Baseball is a little bit different. If you're doing this in football, I think it's an issue. But historically, I know the Gamecocks for sure. If you look back at some of our better teams, we had a lot of JUCO talent in there. The problem with JUCO players is that not all of them, they're hit and miss. I mean, there's some guys who come to the SEC or come to big-time college baseball and it doesn't quite translate. And I think that's why the Gamecocks aren't ranked preseason-wise. I think there's a lot of talent there, but you don't know if it will translate. And so I think the Gamecocks have a chance to be really, really good. They got to stay healthy for crying out loud. Good Lord. I'm so sick of Gamecock players getting hurt in every sport. So if they can stay healthy, they have a lot of talent. But we've seen in the past couple of years where that talent does not translate in the field. So I get why Kingston did it. Last year it was horrible. They had no depth. The injuries took its toll, and I think he needed to go get some reinforcements and do that. He's got a good class coming in next year of non-JUCO players, regular class coming next year for the Gamecocks. So I think he needs this kind of bridge year to kind of get the Gamecocks back where they're competitive again. And so it's going to be an interesting year. I'm not making any predictions, but I'm hoping that enough of these JUCO kids adapt well to SEC play and the Gamecocks make some noise, surprise some people, get themselves in the regional. And once you're in a regional, unless you're Clemson, the Gamecocks need to step up in regionals and play well and find a way to get through them. Unlike Clemson, they don't play well in June. The Gamecocks usually have that June kind of zest about them. That's what we do. We put the Gamecock hat on, put the garden black on, put the interlocking SC on, and when June comes around, you play ball. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, you almost didn't win a conference series until June last year, so that's what you had.
Well, how about this morning? interesting thing I heard over on Tater Radio this morning. They were talking about the Shiloh Sanders thing. Shock. Winners of two of the last 4 national championships. We're talking about Gamecocks on their show. Shock. But we're talking about Mark Kingston, and then the host of the show, Mickey, said something about the coach came out and made a statement, and then his co-producer he said, well, of course he made a statement. Look what school they're talking about. Yeah, and which their co-host on that show he has a revolving door of normal ex-Clemson grads, guys in their mid to late 20s, or usually just a bunch of jagoffs. But at any rate, I thought it was funny, and that Kingston actually said something to the effect of, we just thought that it would be that Shiloh understood that that he would not be beneficial to our baseball program, and that's good. I'm solidly behind that. I mean, so the kid had a tryout and he couldn't cut the mustard, so they should just cut the shit.
Well, the other thing too, people don't realize is that you have limited roster spots. And
yeah, exactly.
This team here, Kingston kind of, some teams in the past are still kind of figuring out their 35 guys they're going to use for the season. I think you only play 27 SEC play, at a given time. And in the past years, they're still trying to figure that stuff out. Well, I got the kind of notion that after fall ball, that Kingston pretty much had his 35 guys. Like, there was no real kind of debate. So I think when you had the tryout, you probably didn't really pay, a whole lot of attention. It's kind of like, we'll give you the tryout, but in reality, there isn't room for you. And unless you come out and look like Willie Mays, so I just don't see the kind of the people get upset. But listen, this is, I joke around with the whole Mecca thing, but this is a big time baseball program. And I know we've struggled here the last few years, not to our standards, but there's a lot of talent on this team and people they're expecting things from. So just a guy to walk in who played some baseball in high school and worked hard for 3 weeks or winter break, expect him to go, oh yeah, you're gonna come in and dazzle us. I mean, listen, his dad, okay, could play both sports and do it well. I mean, that he's the exception to the rule, and I just think that we got to be realistic here.
Well, and
Dion.
Go ahead, Cale.
Was it Dion said something to on the Twitter or something? if you're gonna kill a kid's dream, don't say it was suicide.
Yeah,
I mean that's witty and everything, but at the end of the day, it just don't pay the fucking bills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Kingston was trying to be nice. Instead of saying on Twitter he wasn't good enough, I think he was trying to say, listen, we decided, that in his best interest was to stick to, the Clemson in football. I think he wasn't trying to lie or anything. He was trying to politely lie, like, hey, I don't want to kill the kid and say he wasn't good enough. And so I guess, that the lesson is you got to be truthful, even if it's brutal. Hey, sorry, he tried out. He wasn't good enough for a 35-man roster.
He didn't come out and say he sucks a big floppy. He just sucks a big floppy ding-a-ling, and he's hanging out with that loser muschamp on the football field.
And I'm sure if he did that, I'm sure if he did that, Dion would get mad, like, how dare you disrespect my kid? And social media, what I mean? So either way, Kingston was screwed. You try to be nice, and so whatever.
Well, I think that I agree with what Mike said about he's got his 35 guys, but Teddy Hefner, you know who Teddy Hefner is right there, Mike? He sat in on my show with me today, just hanging out with me today. Cale, I don't know if you know Teddy Hefner or not, but he was the Gamecock beat writer for the state newspaper for like 20 years. Very respected radio guy. And we were talking a little baseball today, and he said the thing about Kingston that we were talking a little bit about Kingston. He said Kingston came in trying to teach the trajectory thing as far as hitting goes, and then that kind of blew up in his face, and he had to back out of that. I think that Kingston's done a pretty good job at South Carolina. I mean, last year was a gong show, but it just seemed like when you looked at last year's team, they weren't as bad as their record was, in my opinion. And I think injuries kind of screwed them too. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Well, they just didn't have any depth. I mean, and so if everyone stayed healthy last year, I think they would have been okay. But when you have no depth and you get a lot of injuries in pitching, and you try to go through the SEC series every weekend, and you get to see it. Like, they would play well on Friday and Saturday. You know, they hang around. And on Sunday, they had, like, nothing left. I mean, they're throwing guys that should not be in an SEC series, you know, out of the bullpen, expecting them to hold down leads and, you know, all the stuff there, too. You know, so hopefully this year they have more depth, more arms. Hopefully we don't get snaked with injuries. Hopefully Carmen Majinski doesn't break his foot fielding a ground ball. I mean, still amazing that Clemson game. He comes up the mound, routine ground ball, and snaps his foot. Like only the Gamecocks happen to. So hopefully all that stuff's done, and we have some arms, and you know we play well. You know, and get ourselves to June.
I have a something that I need you gentlemen to do, and it's just for the Gamecock fan base. You guys are going to have to talk them off the ledge, meaning that when you look at just the East, the SEC East, there are 3 teams ranked in the top 10 in the Baseball America poll from the SEC East with, I think, Vandy's 1, Georgia is like 8, and
Florida
is like 5th. So you have 3 teams inside the top 10 just in
Kentucky, no slouch either.
Well, Kentucky, according to Joe, who does the national stuff, he thinks Kentucky may be down a little bit, and Mizzou's going to be a gong show because they can't even play in the tournament this year.
So I told you Kentucky was cycling out.
Cycling out.
Oh God, here we go.
Tractoring out.
The thing is, though, is that
Cashing out. There you go with a K.
With a K. But you may have to talk your guys off the ledge here because there's a hell of a lot of good teams just in your own division there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say this, though. You know, college baseball is the hardest college sport to predict this year because of just a lot of unknowns. And so while all those teams have talent, I mean, the SEC is loaded with talent in baseball, and that conference ride, and it's just a fact. You have to suspect that a couple of those teams won't quite live up to the billing. And the Gamecocks have been in that situation before, too. The Gamecocks been ranked 5th in the country in the preseason and didn't make the tournament one year. Didn't make the postseason one year. So there's always like a team or two like that either they're not as good as they thought or they get some injuries and they have a lot of depth or some guys that they have projected don't play well. Look at like Noah Campbell, for example, for Carolina. He was projected, you know, last year after the Cape Cod League,
right?
The best players in the country, and he couldn't hit me last year. Now, hopefully, he plays well this year. But that happens to some guys, whatever it is, and those teams don't quite do it. So while it looks daunting, and it looks like some impossible thing, I would kind of to people that it is baseball, and it's just different in baseball. You know, basketball and football are a little bit easier to predict preseason wise. I think baseball there's a lot more room for error.
Well, yeah, I kind of agree with that. And the last thing he talked about Clemson, he liked their depth for the Clemson fans that are listening out there and with the pitching staff, Spencer Strider, Sharp, Askew, and Clark. All 3 got that's a pretty good pitching rotation there. But he thinks this Clemson team is going to be different than teams in the past because Clemson lived and died by the 3-run homer. He thinks this team is going to be a team that's going to have to manufacture runs, guys like Meredith and Sam Hall on the base paths. Check out that interview. I will post that the link to that in the show description here on the podcast and on the YouTube channel and everywhere else. It's actually a really good interview, and you know, listen to my show anyway during the day on Fox Sports Radio. It's a pretty good show. We have some folks come on from time to time. Everybody from Levon Kirkland to Tim Frisbee to you name it. Got all kinds of guys on there.
Yeah,
All right.
not a lot of long balls being hit out into the Gaijin Cafe up there in Tatertown this year. No,
Cale,
the beer bombs are long gone.
I'm gonna take you to a baseball game, Cale, just because you're my friend. I'm gonna take you to a baseball game. I take the Comrade every year. We go to a game down here. By the way.
By the way, real quick, if you buy season tickets to Gamecock baseball, that's for home games only. You don't get tickets to road games or games in neutral ballparks. So just throw it out there. There's a person on Twitter, a big Gamecock fan, apparently has a podcast, who asked a question.
This guy has a podcast?
Asked a question. Hey, I'm just wondering, Twitter world. If I buy season tickets to Gamecock baseball games, does that include all 3 games against Clemson? Someone goes, no, you get 1 game against Clemson because we only play 1 game in our ballpark. That's how season tickets work. So just a little FYI for our new fans.
Yeah, well, there you go with that. All right, well, I think we are done, gentlemen. Check back with us on Sunday. We appreciate the folks watching on YouTube and, of course, on Facebook Live as well. By the way, this is a podcast. We just have the video viewing here if you want to see it. You can find the podcast at robincomrade.com. Download, listen whenever you want. If you're just coming up on us, we appreciate you checking us out. I am on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Comrade, the gentleman all the way to the right, he's on the Twitter at the Pesky Poll. Cale, of course, is on Twitter at Hall_Cale. But if you search for Carolina Jackpot, you'll get all of his great stuff on Twitter there as well.
Yeah, also, if you watch this tonight on Facebook Live, if you enjoyed the content you saw here tonight, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you thought there were a bunch of idiots that didn't know what we're talking about, you can obviously go hit it with a thumbs down. I really don't care. Any type of interaction means there was a reaction. So, hey, it's always good for us.
As we said, just to make sure that people understand this, all hate tweets go to at the Pesky Poll. If you hate the show, please send them to at the Pesky Poll. I only want your love tweets. That's what I want. Cale,
I love the nasty.
If you want to send pictures, Cale likes those. So, but at the Pesky
Poll,
I
do. I like boobies in the inbox.
There's nothing wrong with that. Cale likes boobies in the inbox. The Comrade want pictures of Clemson Tiger Paws and hate tweets. So there you go with that. Simple as that. Oh, David Sanders says if you need a new appliance, go to the Sears hometown store. Which, yeah, there you go.
I thought so. All Sears were closed.
No, David Sanders has his own Sears hometown store, man. He owns the thing. Like, he runs it. He went to Chicago to get trained, brother. David Sanders, hardcore. All right. Well, with that, gentlemen, this show is a wrap.
All right.
Bye, guys.